Well, we're going to go back to coverage of International Women's Day this Thursday now. Charlie James is with us in the studio for our daily dose of Media Watch. It's good to see you, Charlie.
Hello, happy International Women's Day.
Thank you very much. The same to you. Now, it has really been dominating the headlines in media outlets around the world. I think more so this year than any other year for obvious reasons. But just take us through some of the reactions you've been
you're definitely right. It's been the top trending topic on Google. It's trending in multiple languages on Twitter, so there's a ton of conversation with this. Wanted to just bring our viewers a couple of stories that are really interesting that media outlets are doing. The first one is from AFP. They sent their photographers all over the world to document women who are kind of trailblazing in usually male-dominated professions. So it's a really great photo series. I just want to show you a couple of them. Here's a woman in Spain who is a firefighter there. Another woman in India who is a rickshaw driver. And so just a really interesting and beautiful look at professions around the world. Let's go next to the BBC. They put together sort of iconic images from protests that prominently feature women, and they're from across decades. They start off with this one, which is from 1985 in Sweden. It is a neo-Nazi demonstration and a woman running after one of them and attacking him with her purse. So just really encapsulates a lot of words there. Yeah. And then this one, which is more modern, from 2016 from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's a Black Lives Matter protest, and this was an image that went all around the world.
Yeah. It's been slightly tainted by a certain soft drink commercial, though, I have to say.
Yes,
you know that
was its own controversy there. And then this one, which I think is the most popular online right now, it's called Overlooked. It's from the New York Times. And they are kind of doing a mea culpa in a way. They're taking 15 women who they say really should have had obituaries at the time that they died in the New York Times, but didn't. And they are now going back. And this is going to be an ongoing project, but they started off with 15, including Sylvia Plath, the poet. Madhubala, who is a Bollywood legend who's often compared to Marilyn Monroe in her short, tragic life, and Ida B. Wells, who was one of the most important investigative journalists of her time. And so these are all women who really...
They didn't get an obituary at the time.
No, trailblazing women who, at the time they died, did not have an obituary. And they say in the introduction to this project that even today, in the last 2 years, only 1 out of 5 of their obituaries that they put in the paper are women. And so there's definitely an underrepresentation there.
Shows you how times have changed. And these are women in the news, or women who were in the news. What about today, in 2018, women making the news?
Right, exactly. And let's take a look, starting with France. So this is from the Superior Council of Audiovisual. They did a survey showing that it's a 40-60 split in France for women who are presenting the news or are guests in the news across radio and television.
That's surprising me.
In France. If we move over to the U.S., men dominate across all different types of media. However, the biggest disparity is in the evening news broadcast. So only 1 in 4 of the journalists who are presenting the news to the American public every night are women. And it's not just the journalists themselves. It's also interesting to take a look at what topics women are reporting on or not reporting on. Some, the number one, such as sports, that's something that maybe people would think of. But the second biggest one for disparity in gender is weather, which has nothing to do with gender. So it's just interesting to look at the breakdown, where then at the bottom where you have more female representation.
More women in education, health.
Health, it's fields that you also see the same in women.
Entertainment, women dominate.
Yeah, women. So
men dominate still,
It's fields that you come to think of women also having roles in professions such as healthcare and education.
Oh, that's interesting.
And of course, we should look at France 24 since we're here. This was sent out to everyone in our office this morning. And women are actually overrepresented at France 24 for presenters.
Let's not talk ourselves out of a job, Charlie.
For presenters, 70% of the women who present on camera at France 24 are women. But then where it's really underrepresented are for the experts, 25% here. And it's interesting, earlier on the program, one of our guests was saying that a lot of times women can't make it to a news studio after work because they have childcare. They have to get home to take care of their children or take care of other people in the household. And so sometimes it's harder for them, the way that society is set up right now, to make it to these types of programs.
Well, there's always Skype, but we remember what happened with that guy in Korea. And he tried to close the door. Okay, and it's not just in the news media, is it?
No.
All industries.
Not at all.
Where there is a disproportionate
Let's take a look at a couple of other studies. So the University of Southern California did a study of the music industry and showed that over the last 5 years for Grammy nominations, 90%, over 90% were men.
Wow.
Of course, I think it's well known in Hollywood that there's some discrepancies in how women are presented on screen. BBC did an analysis showing that the representation of women on screen in movies is worse today than it was in the 1930s as far as the roles women are getting, how much they speak, and what
Betty Davis's time.
and what types of roles those are. Right, Betty Davis, when you had a lot of really strong women on screen.
Of course, yeah.
And I think most people understand this, but when you actually look at the breakdown here, like what they made, it's at how much women speak in the last Best Picture winning films from the last couple
And
of
speak
decades.
to each other as well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, some of them, aren't even female characters who have over 100 words. So when you see something like that, it's quite, it really puts it into a way that you can visualize it, and it's quite surprising.
Wow, very interesting. People breaking it down in different ways there. Charlie, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Charlie James there with Media Watch.